Sports Central presents MaxPreps SoCal.
And welcome into MaxPreps SoCal. Over the next half hour, we're going to spotlight some of the biggest games in the playoff semifinals and some of the biggest performances from last Friday in the quarters. Come on in. I'm Chris Hayre, joined by former LA Charger and Riverview, Florida High alum Jahleel Addae. Jahleel, sorry to say your Sharks fell in the playoffs to Sumner.
Yeah, they did, and it hurts. I got to use my pocket square here to wipe away some tears, man. But let's heal my wounds a little bit. Let's talk about some of this high action-packed playoff football in Southern California. How about that?
You got to get over it, man. We got a lot to get into. Let's begin here in California with a new state top 10. Centennial and Sierra Canyon, they swapped places, so the Huskies are now third. Gardena Serra jumped 4 spots to 5th, and Mission Viejo made a big move, 6 spots up to 8th following a win over Oaks Christian. San Diego's Lincoln is the highest-ranked team outside the Southern section at number 6. They're in the Open Division Finals against Granite Hills on Saturday. The Division I bracket, it looks like this. The top 4 seeds all won, setting up semifinal matchups between St. John Bosco and Corona Centennial, and Mater Dei against Sierra Canyon. The Trailblazers, the only unbeaten team in the D1 bracket, now 11-0 following a 37-20 win over Santa Margarita last Friday. Sierra Canyon has won 19 of its last 20 games dating back to October of last season, including a win in the Division II championship game over Inglewood. Now they get their biggest test yet against perennial Division I power Mater Dei.
Watching Mater Dei play, they're incredibly talented at every spot. They fly around. Every yard is going to have to be earned. We're going to have to obviously contain their explosive offense and then play good offense ourselves, take care of the football, and do the little things that it takes to win football games at a big level. And we've been trying to build to this point. Nothing but respect for the teams that are here. You know, I've been watching them for years, and they've been the best around. And you know, honestly, we're just honored to be able to take the field with them and be able to compete at the Division I level. It's a big step for our program.
All right, so Jahleel, a variety of ways we can go in this one, but let's start with perhaps the biggest key. Wyatt Becker against this stout Mater Dei defense.
This Mater Dei defense is stout. Like you said, they have been top-notch all year. Their offense have been kind of not really in the groove that they want to be. And defense wins championships, but not so fast, Chris. Not when we're talking about Wyatt Becker and Sierra Canyon's quarterback, the junior sensation. He's been balling for them all year this season. Mater Dei's offense hasn't been explosive. Defense has been very good for them. The weather may be shaky, a little bit of rain. That may change the game plan. That may change things with Wyatt Becker, how he can sling the ball around the field. They may have to lean more on the running game, but I'm taking the underdog in Sierra Canyon.
Wow. Okay, so, hey, real quick then, because you said you're taking Sierra Canyon. What a big spot this is for this program. You know, rightfully so, we talk about St. John Bosco and Mater Dei. What would it mean for Sierra Canyon to slay one of these beasts?
Slay the beast, slay the dragon. It would mean everything to them. They're an 11-0 team, and when you look at it, you say we're 11-0, but how are we the underdogs? That has to be some fuel to their fire. They know that they're a good program. They know that they are facing a perennial program in Mater Dei, and they got to say, hey, you know what? We're going to step up to the challenge, and we're going to take care of business.
All right, so the other semifinal, we'll see top seeded St. John Bosco taking on Corona Centennial in another heavyweight battle between two of SoCal's best. We were out in Corona for the Huskies' 63-39 win over Orange Lutheran in the quarterfinals. We talked about these Centennial stars the last 2 weeks, and they balled out under the Friday night lights. Quarterback Husan Longstreet completed over 80% of his passes for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, while running back Cornell Hatcher Jr., he rushed for 190 yards and 5 touchdowns, all a product of a solid game week preparation.
Honestly, I'm proud of the way they approached it this week. This week was a great week of practice for us, and you know, we're happy to be one of the 4 remaining and moving on, and got an opportunity to play at St. John Bosco, which will be a first time ever playing there, and so we're excited about that. They're awesome. They got great athletes. They got great coaching, and so we got our work cut out for us, as we know. And you know, I think they got 1 loss, and it's a close game, obviously, but they're traditional state champions and national champions. So you know, we got to play well. We got to play our best football in order to beat them, and we got to take care of the football.
So you didn't mishear me about Cornell Hatcher Jr.'s stats. Let's just focus on him in this matchup against a very talented St. John Bosco defense. 190 yards and 5 touchdowns.
190 yards and 5 touchdowns. Where do they do that at? Obviously, they do it where Cornell Hatcher, and don't forget the junior plays. He balls out. This kid is a smart kid, a 4.0 student, has all the Ivy League schools on his trail. If they're going to have a chance against St. John Bosco this Friday night, they're going to have to lean on his run game. That Bosco defense is stacked. full of 4 stars, full of 5 stars, and all kind of Joes and blows, and they're beasts. But this kid can take the game into his own hands and make a big, big difference.
All right, so you picked Sierra Canyon over Mater Dei. What are you saying about St. John Bosco and Centennial?
At the end of the day, St. John Bosco is too much right now. When you look at them, what they've done this season and their schedule that they have played, and they've beat Mater Dei. They held Mater Dei to 0, right? A skunk, no points at all. It's just hard to say they're going to lose. It's hard to go against them. Obviously, I think they have a good chance with Cornell running the ball, but at the end of the day, too much Bosco, too much firepower, too much ballers.
There we go. All right, now to the LA City section. In the Open Division, Birmingham Charter is the top seed, and they extended their win streak in the city section to 40 in a row, beating Narbonne 57-19. Now the Patriots turn their attention to Carson in the semis, a team they haven't faced since the 2012 season. It's well known Birmingham is looking for a 4th consecutive Open Division championship, and head coach Jim Rose talked to us about how so many players with championship experience has benefited this team.
They've done it. They've played in so many big games. Like 25 of these guys have played in a city championship game before. A couple of them have played in a couple city championship games. Like Waters, he's been around for the last 3. So guys like that, I mean, they know what's expected this time of year. I mean, and the goal like today was, let's not this be our last practice on a Monday, and let's win this game so we can practice on Thanksgiving.
There you go. All right, here's a quick look at the bracket in the Open Division. The other semis, Pitt's number 2 Garfield against number 3 Gardena. Remember, Birmingham chasing a 4th straight Open Division title. We talked about Peyton Waters last week, but Coach Rose also gave big props to sophomore Ronell Hewitt.
Ronell Hewitt, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, also with a pick 6 last week. This kid can do it all for you. Just like Peyton Waters, the Washington commit, 6'2", 170 pounds, straight athlete. These two, they're going to lean on them in this game to take them to the top and take them where they want to go.
Yeah, Jahleel, he started on both sides of the ball, too. I mean, to play 2 ways and to be effective on both, man, says a lot.
That's impressive, especially in California where you got studs all over the field. You don't see guys playing both ways a lot. You see guys playing one side of the ball, offense, defense, and they're getting recruited by big-time schools. And you seen Coach last week said, hey, we're a little bit nervous. Obviously, those kids were nervous. They went out and put on a show, and they're ready to put on another one.
I don't think they'll be nervous this weekend either. All right, well, hey, we're just warming up here. Coming up next, a preview of our MaxPreps SoCal Game of the Week, a Southern Section D2 semi between Servite and Gardena Serra. Plus, nobody thought 2-8 Charter Oak should be in the playoffs, but now the Chargers 2 wins away from a ring in the Division 8 playoffs.
Hi, I'm Coach Chris Reiner from Servite High School, and you're watching MaxPreps SoCal.
Welcome back. Charter Oak was 2-8 after the regular season, but was still picked to be part of the Division 8 playoffs. But now, after a pair of wins, including beating Covina 23-7 last Friday, the Chargers are in the semifinals facing Palmdale's Highland, who are coming off an upset themselves. They beat top seed of Brentwood in the quarterfinals.
Credit goes entirely to our kids, number 1, and their families, and then to our coaching staff, because every day we've come to practice and we've continually keep our why in front of us and being very intentional and purposeful with everything that we've done. We've just kind of continually honed in on controlling the controllable with the skills that we've developed. And fortunately for us, we were admitted in the playoffs, and we're playing our best football at the right time of year.
Yeah, they are. The other semifinal in the Division 8 bracket features Downey's St. Pius X St. Matthias Academy, a 14 seed, against Fontana's Europa Hills, a 15 seed. Plenty of upsets in this bracket. So, Jahleel, from 2-8 to 2 wins away from a title, this isn't something you see in the NFL or college football. High school, different story.
It is a different story, but it's almost like a movie. And you got to just look at what Coach said, just how positive he is. You got to give credit to the players. But I also want to give credit to the coaches, because it's hard to be a 2-8 team keep your kids motivated. Continue to tell them what you want them to do and have them believe in it. Credit to those guys. And like I said, when the NFL, when you're playing a team that may just snuck into the playoffs in the wild card, I know in my experience, you're like, we don't want to play this team. This team's catching fire at the right time. And the Chargers right now are catching fire at the right time, and they're charging on.
Bolt up, right?
Bolt up, baby.
Hey, real quick, a shout out to a friend of the show, Brad Stockham. He's a PE teacher at Charter Oak, and he's a father of twin girls like myself. So shout out to Brad. All right, Jahleel, let's move on to the loaded baked potato. That is the Division II playoffs. Marietta Valley beat top seeded Rancho Cucamonga in a thriller, 53-52. They're going to take on Mission Viejo, while Serra will host Servite after they knocked off the 2 seed Long Beach Poly. What a game that was. Let's start with the Friars out of the tough Trinity League. They hosted Long Beach Poly, and here's what I was talking about. After trailing 2014 at halftime, Servite could have won the game in regulation after scoring late in the fourth quarter, but in dramatic fashion, Long Beach blocked the extra point. So we would go to OT tied at 20. Let's go to the extra period. After getting the ball first, a 14-yard rushing touchdown by junior Quade Carr gave Servite the 27-20 lead. Then on the next possession, Darius Curry can't handle the bad snap. Turnover seals a crazy playoff win for the Friars. Up next, a tough test against Gardena Serra.
That is a great football team. They are really disciplined. They are really, really well coached. They have tremendous athletes. They're a great challenge. And obviously for a program that's had a heck of a lot of success in the last couple of decades, that's a model for which we, strive to attain, that type of consistency, that type of high-level performance, and it's going to take our best effort.
So the game will be in Gardena, where Serra's coming off a 38-28 win over Los Al to book their spot in the semis against Servite. Senior running back, we've talked about him before. Sincere Rainey logged his 5th 200-yard rushing game of the season, 213 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Griffins. We talked to head coach Scott Altenberg this week about what makes the San Jose State commit so special.
He's had a great season. He's almost at 2,000 yards rushing, which has not really happened very often in our history. He's real close to the career rushing record at Serra High School, so it's an exciting time. And he's had a great year. And every game teams try to stop him, and we somehow figure out a way to get him loose. And last game he had 213 yards rushing, so very exciting.
So it's our game of the week. Serra hosting Servite in a Division II semi. Jahleel, let's start with the Cavs and their stud at running back. Is he Adrian Peterson or Barry Sanders?
He might be both of them if you want to keep it real. He might be both of them in one. This kid is electric. Every time he touches the ball, he has a chance to be a home run hitter. And the crazy thing about it, Chris, teams know that they're running the football with him. They stack the box with 8, 9 defenders, and he's averaging 8.9 yards a carry in the regular season. Just last week, 213 yards. Book him for 200 yards every time he plays. Sincere Rainey, Mr. 2K, almost 2,000 yards. You go, Batman. We see you.
It's a great point. It's demoralizing for defenses when you know it's coming and you can't stop it. Exactly. What about Servite? They were battle-tested in the Trinity League, man. Toughest, maybe, league in the country. It
is the toughest league in the country. When you look at Servite, they're a very young team. And being very young, they've taken their lumps, they've taken their bumps, but they've climbed over those mountains, and they've continued to see a view at the top of the hill that could be looking really pretty for them if they continue to play the way that they're playing. Hey, Serra has a great running back in Sincere Rainey. I think Servite being such battle-tested in the league that they have played in, I think they take this one.
Man, I'm so jacked. It was so many good games.
It is.
So many good players in Southern California, man. We can't ever take it for granted. Coming up on MaxPreps SoCal, how about some Division III action? We'll look ahead to a good one between Chaminade and Warren in the semis. Plus, a national football editor, Zack Poff, going to join us to talk about Warren star quarterback and some big-time matchups in Division I and Division II semis.
You're watching MaxPreps SoCal.
All right, checking in on the Division III playoffs. We got a good one in the semis between Chaminade and Warren. Chaminade's the 2 seed, coming off a 30-16 win over Villa Park. The Bears, the 11 seed, they knocked off unbeaten Tustin in the first round, and then Oak Hills by the same score, 34-33. Warren has now won 8 straight, and we spoke with both coaches this week.
I love the resiliency, man. I love these kids. Any situation we faced this year, whether we're down, we're up, teams come back, we come back, they're not faced. Injuries, they play through injuries. They come to practice every day with like workmanlike attitude, and they just grind, And so, we're probably not as, flashy in terms of some of the guys we had in the past, but just a bunch of great kids who work extremely hard.
Warren's a great team. They're gonna try to get the ball out on the perimeter, and downfield offensively. It's important for us, to get pressure on the quarterback, and then when there's opportunities to make plays, in the passing game, our defense, comes up and makes those plays.
So another good one in the other D3 semi. Number 1 seed San Juan Hills taking on St. Bonaventure. Star wideout Jason Robinson Jr. has 19 catches and 2 touchdowns in the first 2 playoff games for the 11-1 Stallions out of San Juan Capistrano. All right, joining the show now, MaxPreps national football editor Zack Poff. Let's start by talking about the play of Warren's quarterback, Zack.
Yeah, man, Madden Iamaleava. This dude's been lighting up the scoreboard all season, but I've been even more impressed with him during the playoffs. This is win or go home time, and we saw what he did in the opening round against Tustin, a team that was 10-0. He threw for 441 yards and 5 touchdowns in that 34-33 win. And then last week against Oak Hills, he went for 300+ and had 4 touchdowns. The game went to overtime. He turned into Jalen Hurts, got the tush-push walk-off win for the 2-point conversion. So I've been super impressed with Madden Iamaleava. He's a 4-star junior quarterback for a reason. And I think they're going to win on Friday night. I think they're going to get a date with San Juan Hills in the D3 championship game. That's going to be a saucy game, man. Jason Robinson Jr., 2024 Washington commit. This dude has been showing out every single Friday night.
All right, we got some gems. Take us through 4 great games, Division I and II semis. We'll start Division I with Bosco Centennial.
Yeah, this is going to be our MaxPreps game of the week across the country, too. This is going to be a huge matchup, man. You got number 19, Corona Centennial, making the trip over to Bellflower to take on number 3, St. John Bosco. And you guys were talking about Cornell Hatcher Jr. earlier. This is the guy that's really going to be the key for Matt Logan's offense. He's ran for over 2,000 yards this season and 37 touchdowns. And I think that's going to be the Braves' #1 goal on defense, is to slow him down, led by 2024 Notre Dame commit Kingston Billy Amawasa. I've also been impressed with the way junior quarterback Husan Longstreet's been playing as the season has progressed. He's a 4-star quarterback for a reason, but he's going to face a big-time secondary. I expect St. John Bosco to win this game and kind of pull away late. Modern Day Sierra Canyon, man, I'm not as ballsy as Jahleel, man. I think Modern Day is going to win this game. But I'll say this, Sierra Canyon is a well-balanced team. They have a very good defense. They have a strong rushing attack. It's going to probably be raining on Friday, so that kind of bodes well for Sierra Canyon. But I just can't pick against Modern Day in a big-time game like this. But I think it's going to be a competitive game. That's going to be our #2 game across the country in our MaxPreps top 10 games of the week. The D2 bracket, they don't want me to pick because last week I said Rancho was going to play Long Beach Poly in the D2 championship game, and both those teams lost. So I agree with you guys talking about Servite being a Trinity League team and being battle-tested. I think that's going to be a very good game against Gardena Serra. But Sincere Rainey, this is a guy I really can't pick against. He's ran for 1,800+ yards so far this year, and I think after Friday night he'll get over the 2,000-yard mark. I think Gardena Serra is going to clinch a spot in the D2 championship, and I think they're going to get a game against Mission Viejo. I think Mission Viejo is going to take down Bear Bachmar in a very explosive Marietta Valley offense.
Zach, win or lose, we're going to check the tape for Jahleel next week and see what comes of it. Always appreciate your time, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll say this, man. Jahlil's going to have bragging rights for the rest of the year, though, if he gets that prediction right. So.
No doubt about it. All right, guys. Still to come, a MaxPreps SoCal blast from the past. Back to the Division I title game 20 years ago between Loyola and Long Beach Poly. And Eric Weddle joined us last week. And, hey, we must have been good luck because his Rancho Bernardo team picked up their first playoff win. We'll give E-Dub some love next.
I'm Dominic Farrar from Charter Oak High School, and you're watching MaxPreps SoCal.
Parsons pumps and again going deep. He's got his man in stride. Touchdown. Deshaun Jackson.
I'll repeat his name, Deshaun Jackson. Remember him? This MaxPreps SoCal blast from the past. We're taking it back to 2003. Loyola took a late lead over Long Beach Poly in the Division I title game and then won the game with a 4th down stop on defense. The Cubs beat the Jackrabbits 21-17 for their 5th CIF title. Luckily, I got a guy who played against Deshaun Jackson in the NFL.
Played against him a few times, and this is a guy that you don't press. You don't press him at all. You play off coverage. Might as well play prevent. It's like trying to press Tyreek Hill. This guy takes the top off the defense. You need a safety shading his side. That was 2003. I was like 13 years old in my backyard down in Florida trying to impersonate Deshaun Jackson. I remember watching him in the Florida versus California game. True stud, man. Shout out to Deshaun.
That video looked like it was like from the 90s.
It did.
You know?
VCR.
All right, big win for our good friend Eric Weddle. Leo, Rancho Bernardo. They win.
Weddle, we see you, baby. 28-18, took down Bishops. Congratulations on your first playoff win. Taking on La Jolla this next week. Good luck. We see you up here in MaxPreps SoCal, CBSLA. Keep doing your thing, man.
We were good luck.
Yes,
He's got to come back.
Come back, Weddle. We need you.
Hey, we talked about all these games. The elements on Friday could dictate what happens, man.
Yes, pack your defense, pack your special teams, and pack an umbrella. It's going to be rainy, it's going to be slippery, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
Pack a poncho, too. That does it for us on MaxPreps SoCal. We'll see you next Wednesday, same time. For Jahleel, I'm Chris.